it's been good in that sense because it's been a healthy reminder of where I should be going. Because like I say, many days I don't get it right because I don't think I've had that anchor point. And I'm still very fresh in it, to be fair. But it's exciting in its own way because I know no one's getting it right to the point that my head will tell me people are. So it's good to just be a part of a community and a group that reminds me of that. For me, it was just firstly about reaching out and being a part of the community, understanding what it is, and then going back to the literature. You know, there's books. You know, there's books that I don't read. I don't read those books, and I don't read books. And for me, that stuck out where it's like I thought, okay, well, you know, there's literature here to be read, so I might as well read it. And through that, gain some perspective, some knowledge, and then, try and be practical with it through asking some of the guys, you know, what's your experience like in doing this, or what have you learned through this, and through your walk, you know, where are you at with this? How do you deal with this? But for me, I would definitely say it's helped me not to be too hard on myself as an individual, and to push through that. Because I mean, I believe, and what I'm understanding, what I'm learning is there's the principle of grace that it's actually quite amazing to understand. And I'm still trying to fully grasp it and understand it. But I'll probably say that.
I know fellowship is one of the things that we do cherish. And this was an opportunity because we couldn't come to church. And this was a sort of an alternative that God made available to us.
I never ever read Proverbs until I've started reading it now. And I found it the most encouraging book. And it gives you every single example that you could ever imagine. And that's why I would encourage other men to increase our morals, okay, to get better at what we do in society.
Besides getting to church, sitting, listening to the sermons, going home, think about it, and you try and live what you heard, the message of the Sunday. I needed to know more, and this gave me the opportunity to want to be more involved because it's not so scary at all. The people are normal people like I am. When we did the live talks, that was awesome because I always thought, oh, it's only me that battles, it's only me that has issues. And then you hear, wow, there's people that battles more than you. There's people that needs a listening ear more than what I do. And now it encouraged me, I want to do more outside, just sitting in a pew, listening to a message. You want to get more involved.
Toe ons gesit het en die mentors met mekaar gesels het en jy jou life story vertel het, dit was baie openlik en ek het baie vinnig besef dat ek is nie alleen in die bootjie nie, dat daar's ander mans saam met my wat dieselfde ervaring, dieselfde lewenslesse gehad het en ons kon dadelik met mekaar vereenselwig en ons kon dadelik met mekaar begin kommunikeer en ondersteun en dit was van die begin tot vandag toe en ek glo vorentoe was dit net 'n awesome ervaring wat ek gehad het saam met die manne.
I'll go first. It helped me a lot. It put in perspective that we can talk to each other about a lot of things that we never thought we could talk about, or I could talk to Maurice about. I think a lot of people, couples, don't talk religion, things that's deep in the heart. And I started opening up. I never prayed out loud. Yes, on my own, but never in front of Marius. He always prayed for us, and this helped us being more open to it's okay, you know, we can talk about things like from the Bible, from the heart, from God, and then we started taking turns, and I used to pray every now and then.
Alhoewel ons dinge saam gedoen het, het ons dit nie partykeer nie met 'n hart saam gedoen. En dit het ons gehelp om bietjie nader aan mekaar te kom. As ons dinge bespreek het, het ons dit wel bespreek. Ons het goeie onderwerpe gehad om oor te gesels. Nie net die lospraatjies nie, daar was ietsie, dit was lekker geweest om met mekaar te gesels. En ons albei het na so 'n gesprek ietsie daaruit geneem. En ons kon dit toepas in ons normale lewe en dit het geweldig gehelp tussen ons twee, ons gesin en ook die familie daar buitekant. Wonderlik geweest. Nog steeds wonderlik.
So for me, 2 weeks before, I had literally just split with my wife then. And I remember going to the first meeting, one of the requirements that Kat had given me was you need to share your life story. So I remember standing at work and I remember messaging him being like, yo, my life story, I don't know where it's going because up until this point, I have no clue of what's going on. And he just said, well, if you don't want to share it, just come and sit there and you can just be a part of it. And I remember getting there and the two other members or two other mentees, they had shared their story and it was so similar. And I don't know if Kat did this on purpose or I don't know how this worked out. But then he said Johan could go. But I just remember Johan being super nervous, written out his story. And he was like, no, I need to go now. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine, I don't mind. And then Johan shared his story. And I remember sitting there thinking there is no ways that I could not share what I've gone through. And I hadn't really told anybody at all about what had happened. And I remember not knowing anybody. So the mentees that were in my group, it's probably the first time I'd met them and had a proper conversation with them. And I just said to the Lord, there's no ways that I'm not here for a reason. So I'm going to share this story with them. And I remember after Johan had shared his, there was no ways that I couldn't share. And it was probably one of the most beautiful things that has ever happened to me, where it was so natural that it just came out like that. And it was great to be able to share that with somebody.
Ons kon saam bid, saam huil, saam lag as dit gelag moet word. Dan het ons gelag. Dit was lekker. En dan toe ons by Edelheid gaan. Toe wat maak Edelheid vir ons? Sy het ons bederf. Sy bak vir ons as ons kom. Dit het my gehelp om weer my stilte tyd om dit op te skerp.
Ja.
My quiet time het ek bietjie afgeskep. Kyk, ek het gereeld my quiet time gehad, maar as jy werk en so aan, as jy goeie so baie raak, dan dit is die eerste ding wat ons gaan nie dit doen nie. Maar toe ons nou met die program begin, toe het ek dit my prioriteit gemaak. Dit moet ek mee begin.
Om saam met die dames net te gesels en ook te hoor hoe vind jy dit, hoe vind jy dit. Weet, al daai goeders het 'n impak gemaak. Weet, so ek sal dit definitief aanbeveel, want dis iets wat jy saam met jou kan vat en dis definitief die groei.
I've always wanted to be planted somewhere. I would just come to church on Sunday, have my hour service and then go home. But I felt like I needed more.
Anybody who is maybe looking for a bit of a home, looking for a bit of a grounding spot, a community, it's a great opportunity for that.
After the meetings and after the time that we spent together, I can't imagine not keeping in touch afterwards. They're such a support structure, and it also taught me how the Lord uses everyone from everywhere. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter who you are. Each one of us had our journey, and reading everybody's testimonies was just such an eye-opener.
You are allowed to feel vulnerable. It's not a weakness. Actually, it's a strength. Laying yourself out there, relying on the group itself and making some lifelong commitments. And as you start sharing, you realize that I actually have more in common. I mean, you for one, when we had that meeting and I sort of got the gist of what you were saying, obviously I knew in the background what some of the other mentees in the group had gone through as well. And you could just see all the lights light up. So for me, I would want, and that's why I'm taking part this year again, is to abolish that notion that big men don't cry. That to me is no longer relevant, and I think more than ever, men of all ages need role models, and role models don't have to be older. They don't have to have more life experience in general. They might just be more experience in that portion and that season of your life that you need.
it's really great that you're interested in being mentored. It's such an important part of our lives and very necessary for every single one of us. So for those who missed our mentoring information meeting that we had, we've created a digital video that provides all of the information and explains the plan for our Radical Mentoring program for 2021. It's been an incredible blessing to hear the stories and the impact that the program had for those who joined in 2020. So if you've been unsure of whether you should be a part of the program or not, well, hopefully this video is going to give you all of the answers that you need. And then we will see you at the launch of our Radical Mentoring for 2021.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're here to just discuss the information regarding our Radical Mentoring program. We're well into our preparation for our second season, having a very successful first season, and that is busy concluding at the moment. We wanted to just give you a little bit more insight as to how this program actually works. What's very important from the onset, as much as we're addressing ladies and men, the program is separate. The program is separate for ladies. The ladies have their own groups, and the men have their own groups. Now these groups are small little groups that has a mentor, and they only have about 4 to 6 mentees in a group. The groups gather once a month. That can change a little bit depending on what the group and the mentee to discuss, but from the onset, the expectation is to gather once a month. Just please bear in mind that the actual program is 8 months long, and each month will have a theme with a workshop and a breakaway in between. So there's six themes. What we want to just explain to you is that we have purposely chosen books for each theme. So when the groups do come together and they discuss the book and the homework, we can that sense is very scripturally based, and it's very much in a Christian framework. So the books are purchased by the church, and they'll be handed out to the mentors. The mentors will then be handing the books out to you, the mentees, on a monthly basis. Before we go a little bit further, I just want to give a little bit of more of a closer look into how these groups actually work and what actually takes place at the meeting itself. So traditionally, you will receive the book. You will actually also receive some very interactive homework assignments. That homework assignment has a bit of scripture memory verse, and at the same time it's also got a bit of a relational assignment attached to it as well. This homework and the books is what you do as preparation before the meeting takes place. So you'll be expected to read the book. I know some of you might feel that could be a challenge in itself, but I promise you, people like even myself do it, and you'll actually find an incredible amount of enjoyment because you've actually been given this book. This book is yours. It's yours to keep, and it's normally written by very sort of excellent commentators in the Christian world, the likes of Craig Groeschel and Andy Stanley, and they really, it's relevant writing. It's very good. It's either about work and family balance, or things like The Christian Atheist as a good example by Craig Groeschel. Really fantastic and easy reading books. So what we want to do is we want you to read the book. We want you to do the homework and the relational assignment as well. Some of the relational assignments, just to give you an idea in the past, is to perhaps learn how to pray with your partner, with your wife or your husband, something that maybe it's nothing you've ever done before. But you can slowly and in your own time, maybe approach your partner and say, look, do you mind if we maybe say a prayer together? And those are some of the small challenges that are put out in this homework and the structure that we give, only because we are trying to help you grow. One of the things with this program, and one of the things that we're trying to achieve more than anything else, it's not necessarily saying, we want to take you out of your comfort zone, but we want to actually just encourage you to move out of your comfort zone into the uncomfortable zone, like praying with your partner, like reading a book. So those are the things that this program really reaches in and helps you and encourages you. And bearing in mind, in your group itself, you've got your other mentees that are feeling the same, and even mentors. I mean, the mentors that are involved in this program are not necessarily your, excuse the typical cliche, old grey-haired ladies and men. It's not about that. It's even them themselves that have put their hand up because they want to facilitate. They want to help people also grow, and for them to facilitate just arranging a meeting, making sure that perhaps their home is available for these meetings so that they can create a very welcome, homely environment that's nice and small and personal and unique, where you actually get to learn each other and you get to grow with each other. And truthfully, the gift of giving in this whole program is in actual fact what you've said and what you've shared in this program to the others that are actually listening, and they start recognizing, I remember going through that challenge before, and I remember how difficult it was for me, and the mistakes or the choices that I maybe made, and you share that type of information, and I can tell you right now the growth is exponential. It is phenomenal, and you also feel that you are now giving. And a lot of us ask, Lord, where do you want us to be? What do you want us to do? How can we get involved? Well, this is how you get involved. So these little groups of 4 to 6 people with a mentor, and remember the mentor is really a facilitator, is really one of the ways you can understand how radical this mentoring actually is, because it's actually taking and going to another extreme where it's actually saying, people, come and share with us. And yes, you might be a little bit insecure in the beginning, you might be a little bit nervous, but when you see everybody else doing the same and they have the same feeling, you'll start to realize, hang on, I'm actually in a place where I'm with like-minded people, and I can feel their honesty, and I can feel they also have an accountability. Nobody's sitting here perfect. Nobody's sitting and perhaps sort of egotistically putting themselves forward or showing their theology. It's got nothing to do with that. But this is really something. So that's just a little bit of an insight into a meeting. So just having a look at the program for the year now, I want you to know that the program is 8th month program. It's going to be running from May until December of this year. And specifically what we're going to be concentrating on is the theme for each month. Now, for May and June, we're going to be concentrating on the character of God. One of the books we mentioned a little bit earlier that we'll be having a look at is the Craig Rochelle book, which is a Christian atheist. And then we'll also be looking at More Than a Carpenter by the McDowell family. I think it was Josh McDowell. And we'll be looking a little bit more specifically at who is Jesus. So in July, we'll be having a workshop. That workshop is also a very unique, very interactive setting. It's a one-day workshop where all the groups from the ladies and the men's side will be actually coming back together. We'll be sharing in a lot of bit of detail, but the structure of the workshop is we'll have hopefully a guest speaker. That guest speaker will be also speaking on a particular theme that has been brought forward. And then what we actually do in your groups, you break away and we workshop and you discuss in your groups, some of the detail and questions that perhaps been answered, and come back, and you'll get an opportunity with your group to actually relay that, what your group's been thinking and how you've thought about the certain questions that have been asked, and you'll relay that back to the rest of the mentoring groups as well. So that's in July. So in August, we'll be looking at pain and suffering. And in September, we'll be looking at the truth and grace side. One of the good books that have been written in there is from John MacArthur, which is The Truth War. In October, we're looking to have a breakaway as well, if it's possible. However, that will obviously a lot will depend on COVID and a lot of different other things as well. If we can't do a breakaway, we'll do another workshop session as well. Then in November and December, our theme is fit. So that's faithful in temptation. November will be concentrating more on becoming faithful in temptation. And in December, we will be more looking at staying faithful in temptation as well. So that is the broad outline of the program for the year. And there's so much involved in that, and really it's fantastic when you actually look at those different areas and the growth that can take place, and of course the relationship, your growth towards our amazing God. One of the things that's also very important to this program has been the accountability and the honesty side, and we really stress this quite a lot. There's a covenant, and the covenant has got absolutely nothing to do with any financial commitment whatsoever. The covenant itself is something that's very important to the program, because that is the accountability that you have towards your fellow mentees in your group. And why that is important is because when dates are set and commitments are made to get together, you know, it's actually important for us to realize, to a certain degree within the reality realm, that that's a date that we don't want to break. That's a date that unfortunately somebody else has invited you somewhere and it's very exciting. Guys, I'm sorry. That is my meeting. That is something, and we really encourage you to read through the covenant. The covenant will actually be put together with the application form as well. But we really encourage you to read through that covenant and to sign it. We also encourage your spouse, if that be the case, to also sign it, so that your spouse can encourage you as well to make sure that you stick to what you are agreeing on. At the bottom of this video, you will see that there is a link. So those of you that are interested, and I know you're interested, please go there and fill out the application form and send it to mentoring@stmarks.org.za. Or, as we said earlier as well, you're more than welcome to just send us an email. If you're still a little bit unsure, there's myself and the rest of the staff that would be more than prepared to give you a call or chat to you via email, whichever you prefer, and just give you a little bit more of an understanding of where this program actually is. Please, if you have decided, fill out your application form, fill out your covenant as well, and then email it back to mentoring@stmarks.org.za. The date that you need to remember is that all application forms, please be sent in by the 23rd of April. And then the very important date after that, which you need to just make sure you diarize, is the 7th of May, and that is our kickoff meeting. So the kickoff meeting is on the 7th of May. That kickoff meeting is where you'll actually meet your mentor and meet all your mentees in your small group. This is something that you need to just make sure that that's a date that you do not miss. If you still would like to apply and you feel that you might be missing that date, that's okay. We can work around that. Just pop us an email again, and we'll sort that out, and we'll let your mentor know the reasons, perhaps the reasons why you can't make that date. So, folks, I'm just going to reiterate it again. Radical mentoring for the ladies and for the men. You know, if you're sitting on the fence, make contact with us. Make contact with us, let us chat to you a little bit more about it, and ask any question that you feel might pertain to helping you make that step. Remember, the reason we're making this step is it's because of growth. It's growth in your Christianity. You know how many people I've met that always say, oh, you know, my Christianity is flattened out. You know, it's I'm in a lull. I don't have any growth. Well, here is the opportunity to take full advantage of that. Remember, the uniqueness of this program is that you get to sit with people that are in exactly the same place as you. And you get mentored and facilitated by somebody who has gone through this process, who understands this process, but is not there to be your Bible study teacher. It's not there to be somebody that judges and says, oh, but you should be doing this or you should be doing that. No. They are there to help you grow and understand what it is that where God is trying to lead us. And I think that is where the most important part of this is. And you're doing it in a homely, secure environment. And honestly, I cannot stress more. The radicalness of this program is the uniqueness of the growth, and the growth comes from the gift of sharing. What you share to that person that is sitting next to you is unbelievable, and that is where the real strength of our Lord comes through. So I hope to see you soon. Like we said, you're more than welcome to contact us at any time through email or through a phone call, and we'll be there to answer any questions.